Hi everyone, I'm Rosie and this is Flying Flusky.
And we can you and me together. And we can you and me forever.
Welcome back to my Mounjaro journey, or welcome if you're here for the first time. I'm Rosie, I'm 5 foot tall, which is 152 centimeters, and I'm 38. It is June and it really feels like it here in the UK. It's warm and sunny and the blue sky is blazing with sunshine. Oh, it's glorious, especially after last year's absolute bleh of a summer. How am I feeling and any side effects? You may have seen my previous video of week 7 letting you know how I was getting on while we were away, and I was not a well bunny. Now, this wasn't because of the Mounjaro at all. I just got a horrible cough and cold and I was on the struggle bus. So I reduced my dose, which obviously kind of reduced any side effects. The day I jabbed was the day before we were going to get on that minibus down to a yurt. And that night, both Carl and I were ill. I think it must have been whatever we had to eat in the day. And we both had a spot of bad tummy. So I popped an Imodium because I did not want to be on a 4.5-hour minibus having any problems. So honestly, if I were to have had any impact of the jab, I didn't know about it. Other than that, actually, no side effects at all. I'm still waking up early, but I think that might be a bit to do with the sun coming up so early and it being warm in our bedroom this week. But I will keep you posted and let you know if that improves. Week 8 began with the injection that you saw in the bathroom in Bishkek. Like I said, I popped an Imodium that night just because we hadn't been too well, either of us. And then off we popped to our yurt camp by a lake, which was beautiful. The only thing was that it included dinner and breakfast that we'd already paid for. And I was not hungry for breakfast at all. So that was a waste of money. And then dinner kind of was in a community setting in this big yurt. We sat on the floor and was sitting with strangers. And the first night, no one really noticed or commented that I wasn't really eating. But the second day we were sat with parents and a kid, and he was like, "Why aren't you eating your food?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not really hungry." I mean, I had as much as I could. We had a starter with quite a decent sized bowl of noodles and veggies, and then there was a second main course after that. And I had a bit, but I couldn't get through much of it. Both dinners ended with ice cream, and that is something I can't really have as a rule anyway, especially when you can tell it's been in and out of the freezer and it's got those crystals. That is IBS 101 for me. Back to Bishkek, and we went out for an Italian for our meal, and Carl got pizza, and I cannot tell you how jealous I was. Like, I was so missing pizza. But what was it that I've spoken to someone at work who said they had some pizza and they were ill for 5 days. I've seen on here people said they eat pizza and it made them really ill. And I was like, oh, I really cannot risk flying home feeling absolutely dreadful. Especially because we had to get up at 2 a.m. for our flight as it was. So it was already going to be a rough day. So I got some bruschetta with smoked salmon on top, which was fine, but the green-eyed monster was out in terms of pizza. The next day we flew home and I skipped the meal on the plane because I just wasn't hungry. It was, 6 a.m, 7 a.m, something like that. So I just had some water. We got to Istanbul and we decided to use the lounge because we had a decent time stopover, and they had a buffet in there. So I had some bits and bobs, like I had falafel and hummus and lots of cucumber and some olives. I think that was about it. And 1 glass of wine because it's an airport and that's the rule. On the second flight, I decided to skip the meal again. I mean, plain food in economy is not that good anyway, so it's not like I felt like I was missing out and just stuck to water again. Then when I got home, I think it had been about 18 hours of travel and I was starving. So I had to have sort of a girl dinner. I had some vegetable gyoza from the freezer and a packet of Walker's Baked and a questionable apple. If you've made it this far into the video, I'd love it if you would like it. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to ding the bell for notifications of my future videos. I didn't have to go straight back to work, and the next day I was like, right, we got to sort out this pizza malarkey, because I could not stop thinking about pizza and how much I love pizza and how much I miss pizza. I ordered a pizza and I cooked it and I was so happy. And I thought, look, if I can only eat a slice or two, I'll only eat a slice or two, and then the rest is leftovers for Carl. That's fine. But I ended up eating the whole pizza and I was okay. I was completely fine. No tummy aches, no bad tummy, no throwing up, no nothing. So, I mean, maybe good, maybe bad, but pizza, at least cooked in an oven and not very big, is back on the menu. After the pizza, I realised it was Sunday, and actually it had been a full week since I did my last 2.5 jab, and maybe that's why I was capable of eating a whole pizza. So I popped into the bathroom for my next jab. Come with me. Welcome back to the bathroom that you know and love. I might be in a familiar bathroom, but I am recording on my phone rather than the proper camera, because that is currently elsewhere. I forgot to get it off Carl and he's gone up to Nottingham with it. So there it goes. I didn't even forget the mic this time, it's just not here. It feels like way less than a week ago that I did this, but it actually was a week ago, in Bishkek. Because I'm on my phone, I don't have any music or distractions to help through this. So I counted my 30 clicks to give myself the 2.5 milligram dose from the 5 milligram pen. And this time I could mark it with my trusty kitchen Sharpie. So that's all primed and ready to go. I actually might need to turn this off so that I have something to listen to, because otherwise it's just the internal screaming. So I will speak to you on the other side. Okay, that was almost painless. The first little, but then after that it didn't hurt at all. Obviously it's been out of the fridge for a couple of weeks and it's just been kind of cooled by that pouch that I talked about in my last video. I'm going to put it back in the fridge now we're at home. People say like take it out of the fridge a couple of hours before to let it come to room temperature, it doesn't hurt as much. But I don't know if getting it in and out of the fridge is good with the pens that are meant to be used a few times. Obviously in the States they have the single use pens, so that's much easier. I don't know, let me know what you think, if it's okay to keep getting this in and out of the fridge. So I had one more full day off from work, so I decided it was time to see what was going on with me wardrobe wise. I have been keeping clothes from a size 8 up to a size 16 in my room, and trust me when I say there is not enough room for that. So the sooner I could get rid of some clothes and reduce the bulk, the better. But I mean the wardrobe, not me. So I started with all of my dresses, and then I did my trousers, my shorts, my skirts. Tops we'll deal with as and when. So I tried on, I don't know, maybe 40 dresses. Yeah, I have too many. And happy to say there is a fair whack of stuff that is too big. It was weird. It was bittersweet. Like, there's some of my favorite dresses ever are now too big. And so everything's gone on Vinted. I've sold a bunch already. It's nice that they're going to new homes. But there were a couple that I was just like, should I keep them and have them altered? But you know what? I don't know what size I'm going to end up as, and I just don't have room. What I'm not going to be doing is replacing them with new things I buy, because now I am shopping my smaller wardrobe. And I am pleased to say that the next size down, kind of my 12s to 14s, I could pluck out about 80% of what was there. So I'm just swapping them over and having some free space, which is really, really nice. The rest of week 9 has been utterly mundane. Back to work, back to cooking my food in advance and putting it in a microwave, which is terribly dull, and sending off these vintage parcels. I've just done my next jab, and so let's pop back to that bathroom, but this time with a camera and a mic. Please tell me I remembered to put on the mic this time. It's actually Friday the 20th today. So it's not quite been a week, but you know what? I'm hungry. I've decided to go back up to the 5. Now I'm feeling still not 100%, but much, much better. I have been hungry all week. Like, I've eaten all of my food all week and been hungry, and I think it was the right time to go up to 5. It was just terrible timing that I was ill. So we're back onto a full dose today. I mean, it's very possible that having this out of the fridge at kind of lower room temperatures has degraded the medication a little bit, and maybe that's why it wasn't working so well, but that's not really an experiment I can do because I don't have a control pen. Cleaning my little red dot. I'm doing 12 o'clock above my belly button today. So I know these are just for cleaning the pen, and I have been in trouble for that. So I've got some sanitizing spray for my tummy, and I'm listening to Eurovision classics. Does everyone else's needles squirt like crazy? Or is it just mine? This is going to feel like such a big jab after the last couple of only half the days. I swear, it's always like, it's okay until I see the needle, and then it's scary, and then when I get to the point where I've done everything else, and there's no other steps to follow other than put it in your tummy and inject it, woof, a wave of fear. But you know what? We've done it. We've done it together, what? 8 times, 9 times now? So I know I can do it. Cha, cha, cha. Am I procrastinating dancing to the thing? Yeah, 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 yeah. It was a bit stingy going in, but then nothing when I was actually injecting it. If I often look really cross-eyed, by the way, when I'm doing this stuff, it's because I'm visually impaired, so I have to look quite closely so I don't accidentally stick it in my thumb or something. All right, so I think technically this pen would be done. I've got one more in there if I do the golden dose again, but we'll see. I will tell you more about why I may or may not be finishing this pen in a second. Right, back to the sofa. So yeah, I decided to go back on the 5 milligrams just because I don't think 2.5 was having quite the same effect, especially once I was feeling a bit better. I've been hungry monkey. I haven't been overeating, but it's definitely been more on my mind. I was scrolling Deliveroo the other day, and that I haven't done in 2 months. Maybe it means I'll have some more exciting side effects to tell you about in the next video. It is time for some stats. Let's start with the weigh-in. I did decide to weigh myself when I got back from holiday, just because I was curious, and obviously I hadn't seen a scale for 2 weeks. So I hopped on, and I was about 153.5 pounds, which was already a loss from when we'd left, so that was a good news. And I was hoping that over the rest of the week that would drop a little further, just because obviously when you fly it makes you look heavier for a day or two. And that is what happened. Yesterday was my official weigh day on the Thursday the 19th, and I came in at 151 pounds, which is 10 stone 11 or 68.5 kilograms. That means in 3 weeks I've lost 7 pounds, which is pretty good. That's like 2 1/3 pounds a week, which is reasonable. I have lost 2 stone almost exactly in 9 weeks, or I guess we're calling this 2 months, which I am flabbergasted by. And the weird thing is, it hasn't felt like 2 months, and I think it's because it's not a struggle. Like, you know, when you're on a diet and every day feels like a fight, every day you have to keep winning. This just is life. It just is happening, and it means time is zipping by. I'm going to pop some progress photos up on one side you'll see my original photo, and on the other side you'll see the photos I took on Sunday, which was as close to that 8-week mark as I could get. And I'm still struggling to see it a bit. This is my own personal body image stuff, but you know what? At least we're doing something about it. Next is my measurements, and I'm going to pop up my starting measurements versus the measurements I took on Sunday. I'm really pleased that I've lost around 3 centimeters around my neck, because that is one of the things that was really alarming to me when I reached my heaviest weight. And I've lost 7 centimeters around my waist, because let's get that hourglass back. I'm also glad to see it's finally shifting from my tummy, the biggest point around my tummy, around my belly button, because the last measurements hadn't really shifted, and it seems to finally be paying attention to the fact that we're losing weight. Goals moving forward. There is a possibility I'm going to be working with a provider called Juniper coming up, and they don't just provide the medication, they also have nutrition consultancy and exercise plans, and it's more of a kind of overall health package they look at, I guess. Package isn't the right word. Regime? That sounds scary. I'm sure they have a word for it, and I'll know it by the next time I talk to you. But that's quite exciting, because that means I'm going to have someone else helping me set some goals and making sure I stick to them, because as I'm sure you have been able to tell, I do struggle with willpower, and I don't really have an excuse. I'm feeling much, much better. I should have got back on the exercise now. When we were away, I was walking a lot of steps, considering how ill I felt. But then, given the chance to lay around in a yurt, I did that for an entire day as well. So, but even without them, getting back to doing some exercise, getting back to doing our couch to 10K, and lifting more weights is the plan. I'm not sure when I'll see you again. I don't know whether to stick to the new schedule of kind of weeks 10, 11, 12, 13, or whether to do another extra little video at some point to get us back to those nice even numbers that match better with the months or not. Let me know what you think. I can hear the ice cream van. Can you guys hear that? As always, if you have any questions for me, pop them in the comments and I'll try and reply. And if you have any general comments, I was going to talk about alcohol this time, but you know what? I've talked enough. Maybe we'll talk about that in a bonus video. If you have any questions about alcohol or Mounjaro, or any strongly held opinions, I want to know either way, and maybe we'll talk about them over a glass of Prosecco. Whatever you're up to, keep up the good work. Bye.
I see a light, and we can